7 techniques that will improve your pronunciation starting right now. Technique number 1, listen and repeat. Once again, listen and repeat. In other words, you need to practice mimicking native speakers' pronunciation. Let me break this down for you. You see, this technique involves carefully listening to native English speakers and attempting to replicate their pronunciation as closely as possible. Now, I personally used this technique to improve my pronunciation when I was studying Korean. Korean is a very difficult language, and I knew that I had to put the time in to improve my pronunciation. And it got so good that people, when they were on the phone, would answer and they thought I was Korean. Why? Because I listened and repeated what I was hearing whenever I watched a television program, whenever I listened to a podcast, whenever I was around my Korean friends, I would listen and repeat what they were saying. You can use this technique to improve your English pronunciation. I have spoken to thousands upon thousands of English learners, and one of the common challenges is pronunciation. They say, Tiff, my accent is too strong. People don't understand me. Pronunciation is so hard. Listen, if you focus on repeating exactly, trying to replicate what you hear, I guarantee your pronunciation will improve. But you have to be patient with yourself. So even right now, as I am giving you this technique, you could pause the video and repeat the last sentence you heard. Then rewind the video and listen again, and then repeat. Again, your goal is to sound exactly like me or exactly like the individual you are watching or listening to. So again, technique number 1 is to listen and repeat. Now, let me give you 3 reasons why this is such a powerful technique. Reason number 1. Using this technique will help you train your ear to recognize subtle differences in sounds. I love this. As a native English speaker, right? I speak in English all the time. I'm teaching you English right now. But when you listen to me, you'll notice subtle differences. Why? Because English is not your first language. So your ear is going to kind of focus just a bit more. This will help you notice the nuances, the differences in sounds. The second reason why this technique is so powerful is you'll develop muscle memory in your mouth and tongue for producing new sounds. Now, I have mentioned this many times before, and I've also told a story. Stay till the end for story time. So, I told a story about one of my students who was trying to improve her pronunciation. She was struggling to make the TH sound. She didn't know how to put her tongue between her teeth and make it feel natural. So I told her to practice over and over again. When she was working, the. She had to get this muscle memory down. Her tongue needed to figure out, this is a new sound, and this is the position I need to be in to make this sound. So for technique number 1, when you listen and repeat, it also helps you with muscle memory. And finally, the third reason why this technique is so powerful is it allows you to practice in a low pressure environment, building your confidence. When you're practicing alone, or when you're listening to something and repeating it, maybe even at a lower tone, or you're just kind of talking to yourself, you're not worried about anyone judging you. And this will inevitably build your confidence. Technique number 1, listen and repeat. Now, before we go to technique number 2, my name is Teacher Tiffani, and I am passionate about helping you and other English learners around the world finally speak English with confidence. I think this lesson is going to take your English pronunciation to the next level. Now, If you want to continue practicing even after this lesson, don't forget about the English with Tiffani app. The link is in the description if you're watching the video, or you can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and download English with Tiffani to continue practicing. Now, technique number 2. Technique number 2 is record yourself speaking. Now, I said this one slower because sometimes students don't like to record themselves. It feels awkward having your phone in front of you or your camera and you're talking to the camera and you can see yourself. It feels uncomfortable. But when you're trying to improve your pronunciation, you must try various techniques. So, record yourself speaking. You need to compare your pronunciation with native speakers. So when you record yourself, you can watch the video again or listen to the audio recording and realize, Teacher Tiffani sounds like that, but I sound like this. What can I tweak to make it sound more natural? Again, by recording your own speech and comparing it to native speakers, you can identify areas for improvement in your pronunciation. It's so powerful for you to be able to self-correct as you're on your English journey. Now, here are 3 reasons why this technique is so powerful. Reason number 1, you'll become more aware of your own speech patterns and habits. This is important if your goal is to improve your English skills, if your goal is to speak English more fluently, if your goal is to improve your pronunciation specifically, you need to record yourself. It will help you recognize your patterns and your habits. The second reason why this technique is so powerful is it provides a concrete way to track your progress over time. I recorded a video last week. I recorded a video today. I can compare how I did today to how I did last week. You can track your progress. And reason number 3, you can focus on specific sounds or words that you find challenging. Remember a few moments ago, I mentioned that one of my students, when I worked in South Korea, struggled with the TH sound. She was able to pronounce the F sound properly, the S sound, the Z sound, the T sound. It was just that TH sound that she struggled with. So when you take the time to record yourself, whether a video recording or an audio recording, you'll be able to recognize the sounds you need to focus more on. So again, technique number 2, record yourself speaking. Technique number 3, watch English media with subtitles. I'll say it again. Watch English media with subtitles. In other words, you have to observe how words are pronounced in context. This method allows you to see and hear English being used naturally, helping you understand pronunciation in real-world situations. As a native English speaker, I know how to speed up and slow down, and I can understand when others speak fast or speak slow. But for you as an English learner, there are going to be times when you're watching a program and a native English speaker just starts speaking really quickly and you don't know what they're saying. The moment you turn on the subtitles in English, your brain will start connecting, these 3 words together said quickly sound like this. And that will help enhance your pronunciation. So here are 3 other reasons why this technique is so important. Reason number 1, you'll learn how words change in connected speech. That's what I just mentioned. Words together, what they sound like, connected. Reason number 2, it exposes you to different accents and speaking styles. And finally, reason number 3, you can improve your listening skills while reinforcing pronunciation. This technique is very powerful, and I encourage you to do it, to use it, no matter what level you are, intermediate or advanced. but the subtitles must be in English. You got me? Excellent. All right. So let's move on now to technique number 4. Technique number 4 is exaggerate mouth movements. Again, exaggerate mouth movements. Now, you have probably been with me for a while, and so you know that I make an effort to speak very clearly to help you understand the lessons that I'm teaching. I also exaggerate my mouth movements many times in order for you to understand me more and for you to see how I am making certain sounds. Here's the thing. You need to practice over articulating to improve muscle memory. I've been speaking English my entire life, so I can speak quickly, I can say things because I have muscle memory, right? Therefore, thus, this. My mouth knows if the TH sounds comes up, I need to put the tongue through my teeth. By exaggerating your mouth movements when speaking English, you can develop better control over the muscles used in pronunciation. We're trying to help you, starting right now, improve your pronunciation. Here are the 3 reasons why this is so powerful and why it is such a useful technique. Reason number 1, it helps you feel the difference between similar sounds more clearly. It helps you feel the difference. Reason number 2, you'll become more aware of the physical aspects of pronunciation. Sometimes when you watch television, when you watch a YouTube video, or even when you're listening to a podcast, it just seems like people are speaking with no effort, but it just goes back to muscle memory. And the more you exaggerate your mouth movements, the easier it will be for you in a real conversation to make those sounds properly. And reason number 3, it can lead to clearer, more precise speech over time. Remember I told you earlier that when I would be on the phone in Korea, I would sound like a Korean. They thought I was Korean. Why? Because I practiced using this technique, exaggerating my mouth movements, making sure I was actually properly forming the sound inside and on the exterior portion of my mouth. Technique number 4, exaggerate mouth movements. Technique number 5, shadow native speakers. Again, shadow native speakers. You're going to speak along with audio in real time. Shadowing involves speaking along with the native speaker in real time, matching their pace, intonation, and pronunciation as closely as possible. So let's practice this really quickly and then we'll go to the reasons. If you're watching this video, you can see on your screen right now a sentence, the description, right? I want you to try to shadow me. Try to follow my pace and my intonation. Here we go. Shadowing involves speaking along with the native speaker in real time, matching their pace, intonation, and pronunciation as closely as possible. Now you can pause this video and try to say what I just said. Or maybe you were actually reading in real time trying to keep up with me. This technique will help you improve your pronunciation. Here are the 3 reasons why this is such a powerful technique. Reason number 1, it improves your ability to keep up with natural speech patterns. I teach my students in my academy, the Speak English with Tiffani Academy, that there's a rhythm to speech, right? And if you have rhythm, you can kind of follow the rhythm as you're speaking. Again, it improves your ability to keep up with natural speech patterns or natural speech rhythms. Reason number 2, you'll internalize the rhythm and flow of English. I just said rhythm is so important when you're speaking English. And reason number 3, it helps you develop a more natural sounding accent. When you're shadowing a native English speaker, you're telling your brain, hey, this is what I'd like to sound like. Let's work hard to sound like that. All right? Okay, so again, technique number 5, shadow native speakers. Now let's go to technique number 6. Technique number 6 is also very important. It refers to learning intonation patterns. Again, learning intonation patterns. Practice the rise and fall of pitch in sentences. You see, understanding and practicing intonation patterns helps you convey meaning more effectively and sound more natural when speaking English. Let me break it down like this. When I'm speaking to you, when I'm explaining the lesson to you, I normally take my time and speak very clearly. I also make it a point to allow my voice to rise and fall. I want you to see that intonation matters, because if I all of a sudden started speaking like this with the monotone, you would probably get bored very quickly. But because sometimes I'm like this and sometimes I'm like this, there's something about changing your intonation that draws people in. So you need to learn intonation patterns. For example, when you're happy, normally if someone is happy and speaking English, their voice goes up. There's kind of this lightness to their voice and a high pitch. But if someone is very serious, maybe sad, upset, or just in a very solemn mood, our voice naturally drops down. You see the difference, right? I feel really good, and then I just want to tell you about something that happened yesterday. This intonation practice is going to help your pronunciation so much. Here are 3 reasons why this is so important. It allows you to express emotions and attitudes more accurately. If I all of a sudden said, man, I'm having the worst day of my life, something would be a little off, right? Tiff, you sound happy, but the words you're using don't match what I'm feeling. When you practice the intonation patterns, it's going to inevitably help your pronunciation as well, and people will understand you more. Reason number 2, you'll be better understood, as intonation can change the meaning of a sentence. And finally, reason number 3, it helps you sound more native-like in your speech. Practicing these intonation patterns and the flow and rhythm of English. So again, technique number 6, learn intonation patterns. Technique number 7, slow down your speech. I'll say it again. Slow down your speech. You see, focusing on clarity is important to do before increasing speed. Sometimes as you're learning English and trying to improve your pronunciation, you might think, hey, as long as I speak faster, it'll be good. But that's not the case. You see, by speaking more slowly at first, you can concentrate on pronouncing each sound correctly before working on increasing your speaking speed. Why is this so important? Reason number 1, it gives you time to think about the correct pronunciation of each word. Now, we're not saying that you should speak this slowly. Instead, we're saying you should speak this slowly. It's okay to pause for a moment. And in the pauses, when you're taking your time, you're giving yourself an opportunity to think. You caught that, right? I slowed down on purpose, but you were still engaged. Reason number 2, you'll develop better control over your speech organs. Slow it down before you speed it up. And reason number 3, it helps reduce anxiety and increases your confidence in speaking. You got it? Yes. Technique number 7, slow down your speech. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson. My goal is to help you speak English with confidence. I will talk to you in the next lesson. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. One more time. I said it's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right. This is one of my favorite stories, literally. And it's one of my favorite stories because of the student and his personality. He was one of my favorite students. He had so much confidence. He was just a very fun guy to be around. So, when I was in South Korea, every once in a while throughout the term, I would have a game day for my students. It was a time just for them to relax, to not be stressed. It usually fell on the day after an exam, just to kind of let them have some fun. So on this specific evening, it was an evening class, I decided to play a game where the students would have to guess the word. So I put the students in two teams, and each team had to select a spokesperson to come up front, right? So that spokesperson would come up front, and their job was to describe the word. Now, they had to describe the word either using words or by drawing a picture. Now, this team got a word, and they were responsible for guessing the word by looking at the representative's drawing on the whiteboard. Now, I knew the word because I gave the word to the students. But for this round, the students actually had not told me the word. So anyways, the student is drawing the picture on the board, and his team is guessing, right? They're trying to guess what the word is, and they're throwing out all types of words, right? And I had a timer, and the timer was about to run out. And this one guy yells out, "Tiff, I got it." And I'm like, "All right, man, let me know what's the answer," right? And the representative at the board stopped and was like, "Hey, what is it?" And he said, "Whopperm." And I paused. And I was always very careful. If a student made a mistake or said something I didn't understand, I would try to make sure I didn't look shocked or confused because I didn't want them to be uncomfortable or embarrassed. So I said, hey, say that one more time for me. And with the utmost confidence, shoulders back, he said, "Whopperm." And I looked at the picture and I looked at the student. I looked at the picture and then I looked at the student again. I said, "Say that word one more time." Now remember, this is one of my favorite students. We were close. He was a funny guy. He said, "Tiff, whopperm." Now, if you're not watching the video, you can't see how I'm exaggerating my mouth movements, but this is how he was actually speaking to me. And in that moment, I realized what he was trying to say. He was trying to say law firm. I looked at him and I said, "You gotta be kidding me. Are you trying to say law firm?" He said, "That's what I said, Tiff. That's what I said." And we all just burst out laughing. Why? Again, cool guy, so much confidence. So he wasn't even embarrassed. I said, "It's not wall, it's law. And it's not perm, it's firm." And he even started laughing. He was like, "Oh, Tiff, I gotta work on my pronunciation." He was a funny guy. Now, I never forgot that situation, of course, because of his jovial personality and his happy demeanor, right? But I realized, man, because of pronunciation, I wasn't able to understand what this student was saying. And I had been a teacher at the time for years. I had already taught tons of students. But because he was not able to pronounce the L sound and the F sound, I wasn't able to understand what he was saying. Now, I was his teacher. He was comfortable with me. But imagine if he had been in another situation, trying to say that word. He might have been embarrassed. He might have been overwhelmed or frustrated. This is why I continue to teach English. And I hope this lesson on pronunciation helped you. I really care, just like I cared about him. I still like that guy. Hopefully I'll meet him once again in the future. Hope you enjoyed this story, and I'll talk to you next time.